outside of the creative ways to handle it on the back end with the mortgage piece, I think there's creative ways to deal with it with the seller. And I don't mean just going to get a seller's note.
What everyone is perceiving is lack of inventory, but it actually has climbed, and you have rates going down, and you have a bunch of people going into the holidays, getting busy with holidays. It is a great time to find a fixer-upper right now and get a steal of a deal. Welcome to the Cash Flow Bros podcast. We're your hosts, Todd,
Jordan,
Rob,
bring you the latest in Birmingham Market. Welcome. Rob, you got a new look, and now that we're on YouTube, you can show the world.
Yeah.
Everyone can see. Yeah.
He just got back from Top Gun school.
So,
Top Gun school.
So this is the first time in my life that I've rocked the mustache for, Movember.
Yeah.
Are you
Mustache
sure
month.
it's Movember? I thought it was No Shave November.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Movember.
Movember?
For me, it is.
Okay. And that's all that matters.
It's all that matters is what
I've
it's
had
for
it
Rob.
since November 1st, and the plan is to keep it the whole month.
You think you'll make it?
We'll see. That's more up to Amy than me, however long she can.
Did you get
handle
past
it.
the itchy phase? Was it like itchy for a little while?
No. I mean, I've had a beard for a long time.
Yeah.
Basically, my whole life, I've had a beard.
So you were like,
It's when it starts growing over your lips.
Oh, yeah, you
when you're
gotta
eating
trim
food.
it.
You got to keep it trimmed
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
trim it.
around there because that will drive you
Yeah.
crazy.
I knew a guy who would trim. He had a full beard, but he didn't like the feeling of it on his lip, and so he would straight shave. It was the opposite of what you have now,
Yeah.
Really?
and it did not look good.
That's
No
like
offense.
I think that's, I don't know. I don't
But
know your friend.
he
I don't
doesn't
know if
listen
he's
to
It's
this
like a
podcast.
reverse
Okay.
mustache.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
you just-
it's a thing.
Ugh.
There's multiple styles out there. Anyway, all that to say is I've always been envious of your beard because mine's patchy. So there's that.
It's okay.
Well, I feel like I have a classic mustache. It's nothing fancy about it.
Yeah.
It's just,
Same color as your hair,
yeah,
which is important.
yeah. As long as I can keep Amy at keep her at arm's length, then we can keep it going for the rest
It's
of
going
the
to
day.
be hard with that thing.
I don't know.
I
He's
know,
got
yeah.
he's got a couple grays
I don't
in
know if I
there.
can keep her away.
He
yeah.
does, doesn't he?
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
anyway. Well, we have the Birmingham stats in for October. So we usually like to record this a week or two after the month so that all the, data comes in. And we have a really, really surprising data point for this month.
Big time surprising.
Yeah. So, to be honest, when I pulled the stats, I text you, Rob, and I was like, "Is this correct? Did I do this right?"
We triple checked it.
Well, we
triple
checked it
checked
when
it.
we came in today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically the listings,
Mm-hmm.
and the listings are positive for the first time in probably over a year.
Yeah.
They've been dramatically low. They've come up a little bit since we talked about it, this quote unquote new market when rates were starting to climb. And so in October of 2022, we had 1,956 listings. 2023, we had 2,217, which is a 13.34% increase. But here's the thing. September's numbers were negative 13.38. So we are at over a 20% hike in listings,
Mm-hmm.
which is dramatic.
In a month that is, or at least a season that is generally not known for people putting their houses on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean it's pretty wild.
And that's the big time headline probably, of the year is that there's no inventory. That's the story that everyone is saying. There's no listings, no inventory. And I haven't heard, that's why I like pulling the stats ourselves every month, because you get a pretty good edge on what's happening before any major news networks pick it up.
Right.
This is probably something that you'll see in other markets and it'll make headlines, but probably not for a month.
Or two.
That's
Or two,
what I'm
yeah.
wondering too. Is if these numbers are this crazy here, Birmingham's not a huge swing market. I don't
Mhm.
feel like, what do these numbers look like for the nation as a whole? I mean, I know we're
Yeah.
talking about certain larger markets, but as a whole, is the whole country going through that? Because they've been saying for months that the problem's inventory and getting supplies and all these other things. That's got to be that. I'm curious what that number is.
And typically we like to, I'll pause it and say, typically we like to see at least 2 to 3 months of a consistent stat to call it like a trend.
Yeah. That's
so this
true.
could be a fluke.
Could be.
And so we'll stay on
It's
top
a pretty
of
big
it.
fluke.
But it is a pretty significant change that that we all think is definitely interesting. So, but yeah, so let's keep rolling. The solds though did go up. Last month they were at negative 27%. This month they're at negative 22. So they're still in the negative. 2022 we had 1,454 listings sold, and in 2023 there was 1,133. So it's a negative 22% decline in solds. So that's trending, and that's what I was like so blown away is our listings are higher, but the solds didn't climb with it. So I think it's one of those things. It's a little too early to say it's a trend. A little too early to say exactly that we're coming out of a low inventory, but I would still say that supply is still low. You know, what they say, like you need 6 months of supply to actually be in a positive supply market. I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
No.
So some of it's percentage, but also some of it's just sheer numbers of listings. And we still only have 2,217 listings.
No, when there's
total.
1,000 getting sold every month, that's 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months supply.
We're not anywhere close.
Average sales price, which has been really finicky, but it's stabilized a little bit, at least this month. 2022 was 313,000, and 2023 was 321K. So
okay.
So we're looking at a 2.3% increase, and then the medium sales price was 274K, and then 279K. So that was a 2% increase. So those kind of, in the past, honestly, for the most part, they have mirrored each other, and they got a little wonky where we were seeing 9% appreciation and still negative percent on the medium, and we kind of had to just be like, I think we're still in the medium. Or no, we never went negative. We just were really low.
Yeah.
We were very low.
We were very low, and I think we're still kind of low. So that's good
Just
to know.
inching along.
Yeah.
Inching along.
Just
and
moseying on up.
Yep. Real estate is not a quick man's
Appreciation.
game, so it's okay.
it's a slow man.
It's the only reason we've got a chance.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because we're just slow enough.
Yeah.
Man, we're cruising through. So list sales price in 2022 was actually at 98.83. And in 2023 was 99.23. So it is kind of interesting because we talked about the fall. Those rates were kind of hiking. Everybody's kind of freaking out. The fall kind of tapers off a little bit in general in real estate. And I feel like 2022, if I remember looking back, it was a little bit of like turmoil. Like, where's everything going? Things were crazy. Rates were hiking. And so I can honestly think that that 98%, I think there were definitely some people who had some hesitancy to list.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I was curious about that, sales price to list price. Seeing as we've got more listings coming on market, I wonder what that's gonna look like moving forward. Obviously, it could be a fluke, but
Right.
you would think you just start throwing more listings on there that people will be able to get. Because, that's what you hear all over the place right now is people saying, look, now's your chance to buy. You can refi later, which is great. Now's the chance to buy because you can actually get stuff under list price, or you can get concessions, or they're a lot more willing to do repairs and things like that. And, it doesn't show 99.29 to list price.
Yeah.
That's not very, very far off.
Which in the past, COVID, it was over, but we're still not, like you said, we're not at.
You would think it would be at least 95%
Yeah,
or
I
something.
remember when it went over 100. I thought that was pretty wild. But then it stayed there for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Over 2 years.
Things aren't changing that much. I don't feel like in terms of, wow, now's the time to get a steal of a deal.
Now, Jordan's really dialed in because he just bought something last week. And so he's like,
That's
what
what it
is the
is.
market doing? And
Yeah, I
want
need to
now.
know. I need to know now, and I need to know where it's like in this neighborhood.
Yeah, he's asked me for the Birmingham Market update for Adamsville.
Yeah, what you got?
Daily. He just texts me.
And Todd's
new?
always like, "Hey, you know you have MLS access to." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's more fun to
But
text
it's
you.
so much easier.
It's funner."
So talk about it. You picked something up this week.
We did pick something up.
Huge win.
Huge win. It's always good to close on the next one. This is a game of continuing to move it forward. It's a property in a nice neighborhood, in maybe not the nicest part of Birmingham, but I feel like the neighborhood is really nice.
Yeah.
For what it is. Now, I think if you put that house right there in Homewood or Bluff Park, it's perfect. I mean, that neighborhood could almost transplant besides the size of the lots, because obviously you get more lots the further out you go.
I say there's like a pride of ownership. That's what I saw.
A big, I would concur.
Yeah, lots of stuff taken care of. So this was actually a lead that came to Rob. Rob didn't want it himself. He was too busy working on his mustache. And so
Top Gun school, man. Didn't have time.
So
It's a
Rob
full-time
texts.
job.
Here's the funny story. Rob
Doesn't just happen.
texts me and Jordan at the same time. Is like, hey, got this potential listing. So Jordan and I are like, we have this conversation. We're like, are we going to work on this together? We're going to go at it separate, and it just made sense for us. The margins are too tight to work to collaborate on it, because I need to make at least 50 mil every project I do.
And me too. So there's no meat left on the bone after that.
So we both go out separate, and we run the property. We run our numbers, and you ended up winning. Which, congrats to you.
Yep.
Still a little bitter.
That's okay.
But I'll get the next one. But what I thought was interesting is we both came in pretty much the same price.
Yep. I thought that was pretty interesting also. I think the only thing that won it for me is walking it and having enough confidence just to pull the trigger and put no inspections.
You just had
on there.
You had more guts than I did.
Gunslinger.
Well, and it's funny. It's gunslinger. But it's funny because if you go back and listen to our other podcasts or watch our other YouTube videos or anything like that, that's kind of like some of the dynamic, like you're a lot better at the numbers and understanding the back end picture and like wanting to walk in somewhat, not cautiously per se, but a little bit more like, hey, let's go back to the Hueytown deal. If we have to, like, let's talk about this. I want to bang this all out. And I'm like, there's no banging it out, man. We're going in.
We're running gun.
I like it. It's got 4 walls, a roof. It ain't falling over, so
We'll figure it out.
We're good, dude. We're good. And actually, it's funny because when I went to the closing table, one of the things that I was worried about was the septic. And I know that's something that you've had issues with in the past. So that's probably one of the things you wanted to have checked out. They actually just had the septic cleaned out like 3 years ago.
Okay. So that's a good start.
That's positive news. And that's what happens when you just, you know what I mean?
You get lucky sometimes.
For anybody that doesn't watch us on YouTube, that was an imaginary pistol.
Just cowboy gunslinger out
Yeah,
there.
just-
But it also was unloaded. So
It was unloaded. We are very safe with our weapons here.
No, I am super pumped for you. I think it's going to be a great flip. What's interesting about that property is we both walked it. It was like, holy cow, you can add another bathroom to this.
Yep.
And actually, make sure this. I don't know if you have to. Is it already a 4-bedroom, or you have to add?
No, it's a
something?
4-bedroom.
Okay, so then effectively you have a 4-3 now.
Yep.
With a true, primary bath, and I think it's going to do really well.
Yep.
If you listen to all of my design suggestions,
I'm putting in the second bath upstairs.
Yeah.
I was going to avoid that at first, but
Man, I think it's a win, because people these days
they want their own master
They want
bath.
their own. Yeah, they want their own, and it goes back to like you have these HGTV expectations, but these older homes, and they're trying to fit a round peg in a square hole, and sometimes you just gotta renovate. You gotta knock out a wall or two to make their dreams come true.
You sure do. Add a little bit of different plumbing for any inspectors listening. The address is, what's your address, Todd?
So it'll be good. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited.
Hopefully we'll bring that to market. What do you think? New Year? Before then? Christmas? Is it going to be someone's Christmas
I don't know. That's
present?
kind of one of the things
It's gonna
where
be a 2-week turn and burn.
Yeah, I don't think we're not going to
Get
get
the
in
team
2
fired up.
weeks. The electrical's going to be a weird situation. I think that's going to push us back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what we're doing there yet. We just started ripping stuff out today, so we're going to spray it down with kilts and let them come back next week after it's all aired out, and they can actually walk through in there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping no more than 45 days. That's what I'm hoping. It's going to be weird though because it's going to be a true 4-3. There's not a lot of those over there for comps.
What's so interesting too is like when it's a tri-level, you still have 2 really good living spaces.
Yeah, you could literally have 2 living spaces. I thought about making the downstairs the master and just having their own completely owned space, but I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah. But either way, you have this den area, you have this main living area, you got your kitchen, you got your dining room, and then you have 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. And what is honest, it's like 2,000 square feet. It's not even a massive. It's a very functional layout.
Very functional. Minus the cat turds left behind from the guy before.
Man, it smells bad.
I don't know if I told you, Rob, but when I hopped out of the truck today, you could smell it from the road.
Oh, really?
They had just opened the windows basically and started ripping carpet out. You could smell it.
Oh yeah,
from the road.
It'll take a little work to get that out.
Yeah,
no, it's gonna be rough for a little while, but it'll air out.
I'm excited about it. I hope so.
We bought a house that we moved, like the first one we bought in as like kind of a house hack, like a live-in flip.
Mm-hmm.
The people who lived there before us I think they had 7 dogs.
Oh my God!
And we're not clean people,
Good
so
night.
like these dogs are just relieving themselves all over everywhere.
Oh my God!
Smelled horrible. And after we ripped everything out, like I really thought, I tried spraying a bunch of stuff. I really thought we might have to like remove some subfloor.
Yeah.
Really?
Where it was bad, just because I was like, it's just never going to come out. We're going to have to like take the subfloor out and put a new piece of wood down.
Yeah. Well, let's keep rolling. So average days on market, 2022 was 26.
Mm-hmm.
We're up to 29.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then medium days is the same. No change. 9 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the stats. What I do want to talk about, because it segues into just overall what I think is an opportunity right now that, I don't know of another person or group or team that's pulling monthly stats on the Birmingham market.
No.
So this data is very helpful.
Oh yeah.
If you want to read it and then take action steps on
Mm-hmm.
it. So that said, interest rates are high still.
Oh yeah.
But they did drop. Now, in October, the data is saying that it went from 7.4 to 7.79.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're down, I think I'm hearing rates are in the 7.3s to 7.5s.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back down.
Yeah, that was just in the last couple days. We're hearing.
Right.
Yeah, like
Friday. This is not an October update.
Yeah.
This is early November. So from that data to now, there's been a quick drop.
There's been a quick drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, October's rates actually don't look good, but currently, so we'll call this the halfway update. So now we have what everyone is perceiving is lack of inventory, but it actually has climbed, and you have rates going down, and you have a bunch of people going into the holidays, getting busy with holidays. It is a great time to find a fixer-upper. I think you can buy a newly renovated house. I don't think you're going to get a deal on it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But I think you could find a fixer-upper right now and get a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
Because no one's looking at it, and everybody, the common thread that's being said right now is inventory low. It is still low, but it is climbing, and I don't think people know that yet until they listen to our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I concur. Good reason to listen.
So if you can get on ahead of the curve, everyone will say that rates do continue to decline. Inventory does kind of go up, peaks buyer's interest. Spring, do you think you're going to be competing again?
Oh, you're going to be competing.
Potentially.
I think so.
No doubt.
Potentially.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a potential, obviously, but there's a lot of pent up demand, and everybody's waiting on
a lot of people on the
the
sidelines
rates to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And if the inventory continues to climb, rates go down, people are like, oh, I have a chance. And then you're going back into
Boom.
10 offers on a house, and we're having to go over list.
So if we're selling 1,000 houses roughly a month in the area, that means we need 6,000 houses on market, right?
Yeah.
To be an even market.
Yeah.
It still's not a buyer's market.
No.
I don't even know how long it takes to get back to that number.
A long time.
Yeah.
Rob's like, let me tell you, a long time.
Yeah, it takes I mean, even before COVID, I want to say we had 4,500, somewhere in the mid
Listings.
4,000s on the number of listings sitting in our MLS at any given time.
Wow.
Golly.
That actually would be, we should do an episode where we can compare pre-COVID numbers to COVID and then post-COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me
No.
clarify. We're not post-COVID. COVID's around forever. But what we would say is like, okay, trying to recover from COVID, where we're at now. We should probably dive into that, and you
curious.
kind of research some data. And
I mean, you were the guy back then. So
Yeah.
if you want to know about radio frequencies, I got you from that time. But no one on this podcast cares about that. So we won't bring that.
Yeah, it'd be a good case study. And I think there was a lot of things that, just have really changed about real estate since pre-COVID to now, which is, I guess, like not even 4 years. Some just really significant changes, things that I think a lot of people never thought they'd see that kind of became normal for 2 years, and now are fading away, and kind of we're still seeing a crazy rate hiking cycle that no one's ever really seen. And so I think there's a lot to be learned from all that.
I want to know, I wish there was a button in MLS that you could click that was like rough homes, or these homes aren't in good shape, so that we could actually find out, like, because in those numbers of 2,200, I mean, is there a way to know, or
I know how to do it, but I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just
because that means you'll buy the next
you
one.
every day. I'll keep texting you every day. Well, I mean, I guess I was just curious what like the actual like churn rate is of what's been sitting out there that's still sitting out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're rough, or in their bad shape, or they're fixer uppers, those kind of things.
There's definitely an inventory that's sitting. So I talked with an agent the other day, and she was like, I've got 4 listings and they're not moving. And there is a whole segment of sellers who are interested in selling, but they're also not in a have to sell mode. And so they're just testing the market. And when they're in a not as motivated stance, they're really not going to sell in this market because everyone else is trying to make the numbers work for the current interest rates. And sellers are like, well, my house hasn't depreciated. And technically it hasn't, but in this current market, that's all someone can afford. So that's the offer you're getting. So temporarily, that is what your property is worth if you want to sell now. Now, if you wait it out, rates come back down, you are back up. So anyway, she was basically saying stuff was sitting for her. So I think it just varies.
I've been getting a couple of I'm sure you get the emails too from Showing Time. I've been getting a lot of them lately that are like price discount. Drives me crazy too. Absolutely crazy.
I'm like, no one wants your email to the whole MLS.
No. I mean, I get it. They're trying to do their job, but it's like, hey man, if we wanted to see it, we've already seen it. But then you go look at those properties, and it's like the ones with like bright red kitchen, or like stuff we've been talking about where it's like just paint and carpet or something easy. It's in great areas, but it's not pulling the top dollar of those areas because of those small things.
Yeah.
They matter.
Got to be the prettiest girl at the dance if you want to get asked to dance.
Or the best looking guy.
Or the best,
Or just the best
just Rob with a stash.
You know? Big game changer right there.
All right, so we're in top 3 to wrap this up. Given the fact that we think it's a good opportunity for a buyer, a certain type of buyer, to be looking right now, what are the top 3 things that you would suggest that buyer does? And, besides working with me, okay?
Yeah.
Let's put it out there.
That's it.
That's not it. I would say there's a lot of creative mortgages packages right now and mortgage products between a buy down, the 2-1 buy down we've talked about. There's ways to delay payments. There's just lots of different options. So having a really good mortgage broker and having those conversations about your specific situation and getting creative with it is I think that's what I would put out there as a good rule of thumb.
That's true, because the mortgage industry's in probably shambles right now.
Yeah.
They got to be making some creative ways to
sell
get
it.
folks in
Innovate.
homes. Yeah, which is good. This is what we need.
It is, yeah.
Go ahead, Rob. I'll go last. I'll clean up.
Repeat the question again, because
Yeah, so basically, if we feel like it's a good time to buy
Yeah.
for a property that needs a little bit of rehab, what would top 3 things we would suggest to that buyer to how to move forward with that kind of those action steps?
I would say, I think having an open mind towards everything in a house can be fixed for a price. Sometimes you can fix it yourself,
Right.
with a YouTube video. And so I think if you go into it with a little bit of optimism and vision, which is easier for some people than others, and usually even within like a husband and a wife, it's easier for one than the other to kind of look and say, this is going to be awesome once we just paint this and take out this
Just trust
ugly
me.
cabinets. Like it'll look amazing.
Right.
But I think just having that mindset that you can go in and improve something that right now doesn't look the way you want it to. You can get a little paint on your pants and, you know, it'll look totally different.
Or a lot of paint.
Or a lot of paint. Depends on how good you are at painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but having that vision for a house and realizing that like the only thing you can't change is the location of that.
Right.
And that's what when it comes down to it, real estate is actually not the house. It's the land that you are buying.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot can't be changed much. I mean, you can regrade a plot to a degree, but you can't really do too much to it.
No.
And so the house itself that sits on it, there's a lot of altercations that you can do.
Oh, yeah.
Altercations would be a
No,
fight.
yeah, we're not fighting the house. not today.
I learned English well.
Yeah.
I've been in some altercations with my house before.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Rob shows up with that stash and a belt with a hammer on.
You
No,
know you're
we've
in
time
been
to
over this.
go.
Rob doesn't know how to use a hammer.
That's
remember?
right. I keep forgetting. But
No,
he's got a stash
yeah.
now. He's a different man. Different man.
Oh, yeah. I automatically know now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you grow
You
those,
can't have
know.
a stash like this.
No,
and not
know how to use a hammer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
a wrench, a drill.
Everything. Oh, he's going through the list, bro.
It's like you hold it like this, right?
Oh man. Let's see. Okay, so yours is just kind of having vision. Yours is understanding, being creative with the mortgage folks. Mine would probably be, I think, willingness to negotiate, willingness to come to the table, you know, outside of the creative ways to handle it on the back end with the mortgage piece. I think there's creative ways to deal with it with the seller. And I don't mean just going to get a seller's note, but say you have $10,000 worth of repairs.
Right.
You know, you just go slap that on a seller right now, and they're going to be like, probably not going to happen.
But there's ways that we know how to work through that
To-
and get it done.
Exactly. Whether it's, you know, pay my contractor out of escrow at the end.
Don't tell them all the
Oh,
tricks.
okay, that's right. You have to call Jordan Holt at 334-332. I'm not going to put the rest of it out here because who knows who's listening.
Yeah. But you're right. And to a degree, I think sometimes we have this idea of like, oh, I want to fall in love with that house. And if you're open to fall in love with the deal, you could offer on 3 or 4 houses. And then ultimately the house that you get is the one that was the best deal.
The best deal. Yep.
And it doesn't have to be your forever home. You know, it could just be like we talked about, a double and a single, get on base, get in a home, get a little bit of equity with that sweat equity we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pivot in a couple of years and you take all that equity and move it into, you know, the next thing.
I don't even know what a forever home looks like.
Yeah, I don't think you ever will.
No, I won't. What, like a retirement home maybe? like the villages, that's forever.
Jordan-
6 feet in the ground.
That's
settles
a forever
down.
home right there. Finally settles down.
He's
Sunshine
do we have
Village.
bridge at 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
Where were we?
A retirement home with golf courses does sound beautiful though.
I'm not gonna lie. So I haven't been golfing as much lately. You have, and I'm a little jealous. But I think that's like one of my like things that I'm like, when I'm 70, 80 years old, like I want to have a membership, and I want it to be like 2 or 3 times a week.
You just go out there in the
I'm
morning.
just out there.
It's better than bridge. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be stuck inside with the bridge folks.
I played with this one guy in Colorado. We got paired up with him, and he was like 95 years old and still swinging, man.
I believe it. Just scoot up, man. You know?
Yeah,
Can't hit as far, just scoot up.
It was so straight. It wasn't far.
That's okay.
But he was just dinking it down the.
I mean, meanwhile,
fairway.
me and you were left, right.
Oh, yeah,
left,
yeah.
right.
He beat me.
Oh, I'm sure. The older you get, the more likely you are to beat somebody that's young and thinks they can hit it a million miles, you know?
The beauty of the game, man.
Yep.
So,
Fact.
anyway.
Cool.
Well, hopefully this has been helpful. Yeah, like I said, the stats really help you make decisions. You gotta make decisions off of the hard data.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious what everybody else thinks about the listings changing, and I want to know why.
yeah, we'll see what November looks like in December, and then I think that'll hopefully help us. You know, I'm no fortune teller. I know it's surprising to say, but I think it will help us figure out what is the spring may potentially look like. I think rates will kind of have doing some shifting, and you know, hopefully we'll kind of see a little bit better picture of 2024 by then.
Yeah.
So
I concur.
anyway.
I've got a prediction.
Okay.
You heard it here.
Next month, so this month we had more listings. Next month, we'll either have more inventory or more sales.
Bold prediction.
That's true.
Bold.
Just throwing it out here. You heard it
It's
first.
going one way or the other next
Yeah.
month. So,
Yeah.
it all starts with the listings. And
What if
Yeah.
it's
Get more.
both? What if it's both? What if it's more listings and more sales?
more inventory and more sales.
Yeah.
I don't see how it. I mean, it could go that way.
But you would have to have a dramatic
We
increase.
split it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to
Split where
have
that
increase in both.
new listings go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Appreciate it, y'all. Thanks for checking in.
Thank y'all for coming.
Yep. Thanks.
Had a blast.